What's going on, you guys? Today's video is gonna be about a P0011 and P0021. Those are actually related with the variable valve timing solenoid or actuator, and that's for bank 1 and bank 2. So we have a 2004 Nissan Maxima with a 3.5 engine size. For those of you guys that watch my video, I actually did a timing change replace on this one. So what I actually forgot to do, an engine flush, so we can actually clean the engine on the inside. And by doing that, that actually cleans all the sludge that is, that was getting built up on the inside. And it can also clean the solenoids and all the components inside the engine. So in this case, what I'm gonna be doing, we're gonna be taking this cover off up here, the top one, this cover, and then we're gonna be going into the solenoids, take them out and clean them before we do an engine flush. So let's go ahead and do that now, and let's get to work. Okay, so just like how I mentioned earlier, we have to start by removing the cover, which is gonna be a Allen or hex key. Now my cover only has 2 because I'm missing the other 2. So we're gonna start by taking them out and sit them to the side. Put them somewhere where you know that they're not gonna drop, and then you're gonna be looking for them later. And then remove the cover and sit it off to the side. Now here is one of the actuators or the solenoid, and the other one is actually located in the back. I don't know if you guys can see it. It is this part right here. It runs to the back, as you can see. Now the intake is actually on the top, so that it's gonna be on my way. But in this video, we're gonna take the variable valve timing solenoid without taking the intake out. So stay tuned for that, okay? It is kind of like a challenge to get it out, but it can be done. Now the first thing that you want to do is disconnect the battery, which I already did it. So once you disconnect the battery, you unplug this harness that goes to the solenoid. Just squeeze it and then pull back. Just pull it back. Then before you guys break this 3 bolt, which is a 10 millimeters, before you break it loose, break the one that is actually attached, which this one, it was already broke because I had already broke it loose for you guys before I started recording the video. I had to put everything back together, and then break these other ones loose, the other 3. Once you break it loose, continue taking it out by hand, and again sit the bolt to the side. Now if you guys gonna be doing this, keep in mind that there is a variable valve timing gasket underneath it, and it does have to be replaced. So I'm gonna sit this over here, and then let me lower this down so you guys can see. This is the actuator, the variable valve timing actuator, which its job is basically to adjust the cam for the timing for the spark. So go ahead and finish taking this other one out, and this is what I want to show you guys that happens to this a lot. And this actually happens because some people don't keep up with the maintenance. So this is kind of like notorious for these cars. So you just turn it and pull it out. There you go. So once you pull it out, Did you guys see that? Like, this is the inside, which is actually kind of like okay, like clean, but can you guys see the stuff right here on the inside? I'm sorry, can you guys see that? That's what's actually throwing off the code, P0011 and P0021. So the same thing that this solenoid has on this oil filter screens in the inside on the actuator, the same thing that this is actually clogged up with sludge oil. I mean, you can actually see my finger how I'm sliding it. You guys see that? The one in the back is gonna have the same problem. So let's go ahead, let me bring a towel so I can get this clean, and we'll continue with the one in the back, okay? But first we have to finish with this one. Okay, so we're back again. I had to get this ready so I don't have to move the phone around a lot. So I went and got this piece of old cloth that I have. It was from a jacket, and just basically you just gotta clean it, you know, try to get as much as possible out. And then once you get this cleaned up, I have a parts cleaner and degreaser, so I'm gonna be spraying some in here. And then just keep spraying until you know that you have everything completely clean. So we have it here now, so I'm gonna go ahead and dry it off. I'm also gonna show you how to test it out to see if it's actually working or not, the solenoid, before you guys put it back. Because if it's not clogged like mine, you know, with all the sludge oil buildup on the oil screens in here, it could be the solenoid itself that is actually going bad also. But as you guys can see, mine is already clean now. So the next step that we're gonna be doing, which I want to show you guys, is how to test it out. So in the harness over here, it has two pins on the inside, and you know, in the inside. So I'm gonna be using a alligator clips, and what we're gonna be doing, I'm gonna be touching the inside of the terminals. It doesn't really matter which side you put it on, and then once you touch it, you're gonna be seeing a valve in here, which is this one right here where my finger is pointing on the inside. You're gonna see a valve that moves in and out. That's what actually adjusts the cam. So if that valve opens and closes, you know, if it moves, that's because the solenoid is actually working fine. So let me bring some alligator clips and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so now we have our alligator clips in here. So what I'm gonna be doing, like I mentioned earlier, we're gonna put the positive, I'm gonna put it on the right. Like I said, it doesn't really matter where you guys put it on. And then the other one, I'm gonna put it on the left, just like that. Make sure it's actually clipping on the inside, and then I'm gonna turn it so you guys can see. Now the other side, the negative, I have it disconnected right now. So when I touch the negative cable, the valve on the inside, it should click. So I'm about to do it, okay? You guys see that? You see how it's actually moving? That's because the valve on the inside on the solenoid, it's actually working. So in this case, if you guys taking your solenoid out to clean it, this is actually a good idea, you know, to get it tested out also, to see if it's actually working also. Or before you guys clean it, you guys can test it, so you guys don't waste time by cleaning it, and then you'll find out that it's actually bad. So we're gonna be putting this back into the housing, but before I do it, I'm gonna be cleaning the housing off. Okay, and then I'm gonna be using the towel to clean it. And then make sure that before you put it back on, make sure you clean the surface really good, like in here. Make sure you clean it really well, which I'm gonna be doing it in a minute. And then make sure you clean the other part in here where it actually goes also, so you can actually sit nice and flat. And then remember that you have to replace that gasket also. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this surface up, and then I'm gonna be putting the solenoid back in. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we have this tight now, what we're gonna be using, I'm gonna be inserting this in the inside. Now it has an O-ring, which it has to be lubricated with oil so it can actually slide in nice and easy. I'm gonna be using the same oil that the car has since it's actually clean. I still want to do a engine flush just in case. I don't know if you guys can tell, it's kind of hard for the camera to focus, but the oil is actually still clean. So I'm gonna be using that oil just to lubricate the O-ring and put it around. Okay, and then grab the housing where it actually goes, which as you guys can see I cleaned it off already, and then insert it. Make sure that everything on the inside is nice and clean also, and then insert the solenoid. There you go, and then just give it a push. There you go, and then grab the bolt that actually goes with it, and then just tighten it. There is really not a spec for this, like how tight it gotta be, but just do a hand tight, just snug it. Grab your ratchet with your 10 millimeters. Now you might be better off to tighten it with the the variable vac into the place, which that's what I'm gonna be doing. But before I do it, we got the gaskets over here. Now they are both the same. I got this from the dealer. If you go to any AutoZone or any auto parts store, they actually don't have it, and you have to buy the whole variable valve timing solenoid. So in order for you to get the gaskets, so you can go to the dealer, and this is actually the part number, which like I say, they are the same. So you can go to the dealer and get the parts, or you can buy it online too, which you guys saw the part number already. So you're gonna open the plastic, and then you pull this out. Now you're gonna be inserting this the way it goes, which in this case it actually goes just like this. I had to figure it out. Okay, so it goes just like that. Okay, and then make sure that the holes matches with everything, and then since you already figure out how it goes, you can sit this on the top, like on top of it, and then just hold it down just like that, and then you can slide one of these long bolts in here, and then slide another one in the bottom, so it can actually come out in the bottom. And then once it come out, then you can like help it, and then just sit it where it actually goes, and start by turning it so you can help it, and then do the same thing with the other one. Once you know it's going in, lift it up just a little so you can see, you can double check that the gasket is actually in between, and then just finish tighten those bolts up. Okay, this is what I actually like to do. I like to use I like to start with the hand tight, because if you start right away using a ratchet or a battery operator drill, and if you don't get it right on the first one, what's gonna end up happening is that you're gonna mess up the threads on the inside, and then you're gonna have to like re-tap it or re-thread it. So they don't have to be that tight. Using a 1/4 inch ratchet, this should be okay, because you know when you tighten it, you don't use a lot of pressure, you know, you don't use a lot of force. So what I usually do, I like to use like 3 fingers and my thumb over here, and this is what I actually like to do. Just give it like a nice tight, just where I feel like it's tight, and then go to the bottom. Like I tighten the sides first, and then kind of like feel like the same pressure that I was using on the first one, and then go back to the middle, and then stop where I have the same pressure on the other ones, and then just go back again and double check. So this is kind of like the same pressure I had for both of them. There you go, just like that. So once you have it back on, come back to the bolts that holds the solenoid, and then just tighten it again. There you go. And then slide the connector back on till it clicks, and then you're gonna continue with the other one. So we're gonna continue with the one in the back. Okay, I'll be right back. There you go. And this is actually the old solenoid. Well, you know, the solenoid that I'm taking it out just to clean it. And then I'm gonna be showing you. There it goes over here. So we're gonna be cleaning the board up, the area, the surface, which we're also gonna be cleaning this surface over here. So let's walk up to the front and break this bolt, take the solenoid out, clean it, and pretty much do the same thing that we did with the other one. Okay, so I was actually able to break this off. I have to use some pliers to hold it like this, and then using my ratchet hold it like this, and then break it. So I'm gonna be taking this out, and then slide the solenoid, like give it a turn so you can break the O-ring on the inside, and then just pull it out. There you go. Well, this is just like the previous one, except that this is not as much. It doesn't have as much as oil sludge like the first one. So we're gonna be cleaning that off and then test it to see if it's working. So I'm gonna clean it off so you can see. I'm gonna be using my alligator clips to test it. Again, it doesn't matter where you put it on. There you go. There you go. And I'm gonna be touching the negative cable and see if it clicks. And it seems like it's working. So with that being said, I'm gonna clean it. I'm gonna be putting a little, just a little, okay, just a little bit of silicone, or you can put grease on it. I'll probably put grease on it. Put it just like in here, just a little, like not enough, like barely, you know, barely, so the gasket can actually stick in here. Okay, that should be okay now. And then grab your gasket. And then sit it in here. There we go. So if you turn it, it should be able to fall off, you see? Okay, again, it has been like 3 minutes. We're gonna clean the dipstick. As you can see, it's clean. We're gonna dip it back in, push it back down, pull it out, and this side is reading over here. We're gonna flip it the other side, and it's reading close to where the high side is. So I want to say it's almost like right where it's supposed to be at. So what I'm gonna be doing, even though it's right where it's supposed to be at, I'm gonna add just a little, and I'm gonna leave the camera on so you can see that all I'm doing is adding just a little. That's pretty much all I'm adding. I'm not gonna add no more because, like I said, we don't want to overfill it. Take this out, put the oil cap back on, and then just like using your towel, just kind of like clean the plastic around it, since you know doing oil changes or working on cars, it does get messy. So just go ahead and clean what you can. Clean up after your mess, basically. Doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, that was today's video. So if you guys like the video, give it a likes up. And if you think it was helpful, I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? See ya.